Alright guys, I guess the secret is pretty well out as to why I haven't made too many update videos about Big Red lately. And that is because Big Red is being completely redone. As you can see, we have a Rampage 4 Extreme, which I'm going to be unboxing today. And this is what's going to be used when I rebuild Big Red, which is happening pretty soon. So, anyways, we'll get on to the actual unboxing of this board. Let me cut this strap so it's not right in the middle of trying to show you guys the board. Alright, so now that you can kind of see the board through, as you can see, there's a window to see the board. And by the way, I bought this at Fry's Electronics, which is why I'm not doing a full-on unboxing of it out of like the like a shipping box, because I didn't have it shipped. I went and bought it. On this inside flap here, they tell you all the cool things about it. Okay, I'm not going to adjust the camera because that's just, I would never get it right, but you get an OC key, which is interesting because it overlays your overclock settings right on top of whatever you're doing. It's not a program, it's a physical device that overlays a picture on top of your video. A couple of the Asus softwares that are pretty interesting. You've got Digi Plus VRM. That is how the software can very accurately control the voltage and stuff and all the overclocks of your processor and other parts. It uses Digi Plus VRM to control those very accurately and give you your perfect voltages for your overclock. You've got VGA Hotwire. Now that's an interesting thing. I don't know if it works on other graphics cards, but it's mainly for Asus graphics cards, where you solder on a couple wires to your graphics card and you plug it into the motherboard, and straight from the BIOS or some software on the board you can overclock your graphics card and overvolt your graphics card. So that's pretty interesting. I don't think I'll be doing that because I'm using an EVGA card for now, and I don't know what I'll be using later on in the line. But I also like to keep my warranties intact, and soldering on points to the graphics card will void your warranty on the graphics card, pretty much guaranteed. You also get sub-0 cents because this board is mainly made for like extreme overclockers. I'm going to be using it as just an all-around board, but it's made for overclocking, so where you might be going below zero with like liquid nitrogen or dry ice or whatever you might be using to get extremely cold temperatures for high overclocks. And you've got X socket, which means if you have a 1366 processor and you have a really nice cooler that you like for it, you can carry that on over here, even if it's made for LGA 1366. You've also got a couple key features about the board. It supports 4-way SLI or Crossfire. It's got ROG Connect. That's pretty interesting. And it's got ROG Connect iDirect, which means you can even use the ROG Connect from an iPhone or an Android device. Voltminder LED 2. Okay, I guess there's some LED indicators on the board that tell you something about your voltages. I'm not exactly sure what that does. You can look that up. You've got this right here, which I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to tell you that does, but what I'm assuming that is they're advertising the Memo K, which means that if something's not working right, you press the button and it'll make things work. It slows everything down, so much so that it's pretty much guaranteed to boot, and then you can speed it back up later. You've also got USB BIOS flashback, which means if you somehow manage to brick both of the dual BIOS chips on this board, you can even reinstall the BIOS. So basically there's no way to screw yourself with this board. Like, you just can't mess it up that bad. So I'm going to cut the other strap off the top here. And by the way, I'm out on the kitchen table today because I couldn't film this on my bed because that's stupid, because electronics don't like static and beds often have static. So I'm not going to film it there. My desk is absolutely cluttered, you know, so this is the only wooden surface that I found. So anyways, if you don't know how to open an Asus box, you fold all these flaps open, and you've got your two trays. You've got your main tray that has the motherboard. I'm going to lay this down here and adjust you guys back down so that you can see. Slide out the motherboard tray, and you have your accessories tray as well, and then that's all that's in the box. So we'll lay that aside. Of course, we got to go to the accessories first because you got to save the best for last. It opens this way, apparently. I'm not sure how this is sealed up. Okay, just like that. So you open this up. You've got your OC key. We'll go over that in a minute. That's pretty interesting. Over here, we've got your X socket technology. So if you did want to use your LGA1366 cooler, this is the little mounting bracket and stuff for that. You've got the cable for your OC key. You've got 4 SATA 6 gigabit per second cables and 4 SATA 3 gigabit per second cables. These are all straight to right angle cables, and they will all work for either SATA standard. There's absolutely no difference between the cables except for the little colored ends between black and white. Sorry about that, guys. My mom came home and I had to go say hi to her and stuff. So, where I was at, okay, you've got the SATA cables. They're exactly the same. Next up, you've got your ROG Connect cable. This has got 2, I don't know exactly, I think these are both the male ones, but basically, you plug one into your motherboard and one into a laptop or another desktop or a tablet or anything, and you can overclock from a different computer. And I think you could probably use that to restore your BIOS as well. You've got your Asus Q Connects. Basically, you plug in all of your little front panel I/O headers onto here, and then you plug the giant block into the motherboard rather than trying to plug in each one individually. You've also got a couple voltage checkpoint plugs. I'll show you where these go later on. That's so that you don't have to rely on the software. You can actually get a true voltage reading. You've got a 3-way and 4-way SLI bridge. You've also got a couple of 2-way. I'm not sure which standard these are. Okay, this one's SLI, and this one's Crossfire. So you get a, I don't know the slot spacings about these either, but you get those. You've got your rear I/O shield plate, and you've got your user manual for the motherboard, and that's also got like a software disk inside of it and just that stuff. So, as I said, we're going to talk about the OC key for a minute here. So, first of all, this little cable right here, it's just a plain USB to internal USB cable. Not much to see there. But what that does is you plug it into a internal USB header on the motherboard, and then you can plug it into this port right there. Or you can also use the ROG Connect cable and plug it in on this side and plug it into a normal external USB port. But what this does is you plug it into your graphics card, and on the other end you just plug in your monitor just like normal. But along the way in here, it overlays a little thing on your screen that'll tell you your voltages, your overclock, probably your temperatures. I'm not entirely sure about all this, but this is a very neat tool that could come in handy if you're working on your system or you want to pump up your overclock while you're doing something else. So yeah, it's definitely a handy little tool. I can't wait to get using that with this motherboard. So I'm going to put this back real quick so that I have some room for the actual motherboard. So we'll scoot over the camera a little bit, I guess. Okay, and here we've got the motherboard. It's got a little plastic cover on the box. And if you don't know how to get an Asus board out of this packaging, don't feel bad. I did that with my crosshair. I had no idea how to get it out. You just kind of slide it back this way, slide the rear I/O the opposite direction that it's in, and kind of find a nice firm point. Like heat sinks are always a good option, and just lift it up and find a nice firm place to grip the board on the bottom side. So I'm going to flip this box over and put it right there. So as you guys can probably see, this board is freaking massive. It's got support for 4 graphics cards. Plus, if you use like water cooling and single slot, you've also got 2 more lanes for stuff. It's got a 6-pin power. If you're running multiple graphics cards, you might want that. The chipset is actively cooled. You've got a little fan right here. You've got 2 internal USB 3.0 headers, so you've got a total of 4 internal USB 3.0 ports if you want to use both of those. Now we'll head upwards a little bit and look at what really makes LGA 2011 pretty unique and special. By the way, sorry about how unprofessional this video may seem. I'm just kind of excited to get this board out, and I didn't want to take the time to set up everything super properly. But you've got your full heatsink over your MOSFETs and all of your power delivery. And as you probably know, LGA 2011 uses quad channel memory, which means you've got 8 DIMMs total, and you install 4 at a time. You've got your giant socket here in the middle. It's got 2 separate tabs. You lift it up, you put your processor in, you know how that works. And yeah, this is just a massive, massive board. We're going to see if I can zoom in and show you, hold up, the voltage checkpoints over here. So all these little things right here, these little tiny headers, is where you plug in those little cables, and you can plug in a multimeter and check your voltages that are going to the different points on the board more accurately than software can tell you. You've also got a start button, reset button, and these 4 little switches here turn off the 4 main red PCI lanes, so that if you have multiple water-cooled graphics cards and it won't start, you can turn off one at a time and find out which graphics card is your problem. You've got a couple switches on this board throughout for things like liquid nitrogen, so if your motherboard's extremely cold, sometimes things just won't start. So there's a switch on here that'll help you start up even under extremely cold temperatures. Just one more little thing. This board does take an 8-pin and a 4-pin EPS power connector to power your CPU and your RAM if you want to do some pretty decent overclocking with it. We'll take a quick look at the rear I/O. Okay, which way do we go here? Alrighty, so here's your rear I/O. You've got a PS2 port for keyboard or mouse, because some people still prefer that for gaming. You've got 2 standard USB 2.0 ports. You've got a clear CMOS button. You've got a ROG Connect button to activate it from the outside. You've got 4 USB 2.0 ports, including this white one, which also acts as your ROG Connect port. This little purple thing right here is your IR receiver, and that's how you use the ROG Connect from like an iPhone. You've got 2 more USB 2.0 ports. You've got an eSATA. This is the 6 gigabit per second one. I think it's run straight off the chipset. You've got your Intel Gigabit LAN, 2 USB 3.0 ports, 1 more eSATA, again, run off the chipset, and 2 USB 3.0 ports, once again. And you've got your, I believe that's 7.1 audio with optical. And of course, if you're going to be getting a board this high-end and a system this high-end, chances are you're going to get a sound card. But if you don't, it's got you pretty well taken care of. So, yeah guys, I'm not going to take an intense amount of time and go over every single point on this board. But the summary is, this is one badass board for overclocking and gaming, and just everything you want to do with it, it'll handle it like a breeze. So, if you've been thinking about this motherboard and you actually need it, I recommend you get it. Now keep in mind that this is a pretty high-end board, so not everybody really does need it. So make sure that you really do need the highest overclocking LGA 2011 board. You know, make sure you really need that type of thing before you go and spend the amount of money that this thing costs. So, oh yeah, one more quick thing. I just noticed this. Right up in here, there's an internal USB 2.0 header, and that can go to your OC key. It goes straight out the rear I/O panel, so that you don't have to take up one of your back USB headers. So yeah, but if you're thinking about this board and you actually need it, I definitely recommend you buy it. It's a great board, and I know this from several other people, and pretty soon, once I actually build my system, I will be able to back that up with my own words. So yes guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and leave me a comment. If you want to see more of my videos, including the build that I'm going to do with this insane board, please click subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next videos.